Hey guys, Eric here, and today on Problem Solved, we're going to be building something really interesting, and it's going to be a nice addition, I hope, to our portable inflatable spa here that you guys are all familiar with at this point. I hear the instructions for this next thing are really bad, so hopefully this video can clarify things, and hopefully I can get it built also. I've heard some bad stuff, so anyway, let's get started. So these are the pieces of what we're looking at. So what is this? So when we purchased the new spa, that one right there, to replace the circular one that we had before, we knew we were going to keep it for a while, and so we wanted it to look nicer. We wanted the surrounding to be nicer. We wanted the whole setup to be nicer. So what we did was we purchased what's called a VidaXL Spa Surround. That's what it says over there. This retails for about $850 on Amazon, and if you are interested in it, it comes in a few different colors. I will put a link in the description below, and you can take a look at this. Now, this doesn't have the best reviews, but all of the reviews that I've seen that are negative aren't for the actual product itself, they're for the instructions to build the product. And sometimes the product apparently arrives damaged. We haven't opened the second box. It does arrive in 2 boxes. We opened the first box, which includes these pieces here. This box makes a bunch of sounds when we move it, and it almost sounds like broken glass. I'm hoping it's just nuts and bolts that are in there that are kind of like around, but we're going to take a look at the instructions, and then we're going to see if we can build this spa surround, and then hopefully I can clarify exactly how to build this spa surround, and then everybody's happy, and hopefully it looks nice. So we're going to go ahead and get started with this, and the first step is going to be opening that second box and seeing exactly what the situation is inside of it. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's take a look here. These boxes did not arrive in the best condition, but that's okay, I hope. This spa surround does have a lot of pieces, but if it looks as nice as it does in pictures, it's totally worth it. So this worries me a little bit. This is supposed to include hardware, and it's empty. Oh, there is a giant gash in it. So that's probably the sound I hear, is all the hardware that was in here is probably in the bottom of this box, which is only going to make this more difficult. But let's go ahead and try it. We've got a bunch of little pieces, as I mentioned, so let's go ahead and pull all these out. Oh man, okay, so yeah, definitely all of the hardware fell out of that. So I'm gonna have to get all of the hardware, make sure we have everything. This is a common problem that I hear anyway, is that the shipping for this or the packaging for this isn't that great. And it looks like I'm already experiencing that. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. These are the wood pieces. And it sounds like there's a bunch of hardware inside here too. It probably just fell in there. There are nuts and bolts all over the place. And washers. So after taking everything out of the box, this is what we're looking at. We've got a couple wood pieces. We've got these panels and these panels, and then these panels, and these panels, and these panels, and those panels. And we've got this here, this whole mess of nuts and bolts, which was just loose. To their credit, I think they were originally in that bag. And then we've got this. These are the instructions. They appear to only be about 3 pages long. Whenever you've got this many materials and instructions that are only about 3 pages long, that's probably not a good sign. Let's just take a quick look at these and see how bad they are. So this is what we're looking at here. They give you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. Doesn't look that bad from the picture. You go inside, it's about 5 pages. I counted it. They aren't the best. There's some crude little drawings and whatnot, but that's okay. That's what this video is for. Most of the panels appear to be labeled. As long as they weren't warped or damaged in shipping, we should be okay. They do give you, I'm not gonna use this, but this is what they give you for tools. They give you an Allen key and a tiny wrench. I don't recommend using these to build this. Your hands are gonna be in pain after using this on all of these parts here. what are we gonna do? We are probably gonna use my impact driver, various other tools to try and get this built. I'm gonna try to take you step by step in how to do this, as long as I can figure out those steps. And hopefully by the end of this, we have a really great spa surround. Let's do this. The first good thing is they kind of give you an itemized list here of what you should have in the boxes. This is good. I appear to have all the parts, which is something I was worried about. So that's very, very good that I have them. Now it's time to get the first parts that we need. First parts that we need are panel A, panel J, and frame I and frame L. And I'm gonna show you what those look like. So let's go ahead and take a look at those. All right, so we've just started and it looks like we've already run into a problem. All of the screw pictures you can see here basically look exactly the same. This is an issue, and this is an example of lazy instruction writing. The other issue is that the panels are not even close to proportionate on the instructions. So if you look there, panel A looks a lot bigger than panel J, but if you actually look over there, that's panel A. Panel J is right here, and if you look, they're actually very similar in size. In fact, J is a little bigger than A, and if you look on here, A is much bigger than J. That's a problem, and that's annoying, but that's okay. I'm gonna label these nuts and bolts for you, just so it'll be easier if you do happen to build this thing. So I have put them out in order here from left to right. These are 1s, these are 2s, these are 3s, these are 4s, and these are 5s. 5s look very similar to 3s, but if you look, there is a very slight difference in length. There is nothing else to distinguish these from each other, as they did not come in separate bags. Even from the shipping place, they only came in the same bag. Also, that is probably the most washers I've seen in one single place. I'm a little bit afraid of that, especially since this does not seem to be proportional at all to the amount of nuts I have. I'm not sure if this is going to be an issue yet, but we will find out. So anyway, I do recommend laying out what you've got like this, since they do not come in separate bags. And we're gonna start building this now. Wish me luck. First thing you wanna do is you wanna set up A, I, and J like this. There's a little hole right there. I hope you guys can see it. You're just gonna put your number 1 bolt right through all of them and line them up. You have to lift these panels a little bit, because you're actually building it upside down. See how that bolt's gonna go, let me see. See how that bolt's gonna go through? And you just line up the holes, and then on the other side, you're gonna put a washer and a nut. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. What it should look like when it's in all the way, just like that. Hopefully that makes sense. Step 1 almost done. So step 1 is done. That's what it should look like right there. Looks similar to step 1 on the instructions, but not exactly. And now it looks like we're gonna do the same thing for step 2, only the opposite side. This time we need a B and a K and an I and an L. So just the I and L's are the same. The B and the K's are different because they're for a different side. I think we're probably gonna do this 4 times since there are 4 corners to this. So I'm gonna go ahead and do step number 2, and then I'll show you what it looks like when they're together. Again, step number 2, very similar to step number 1. All right guys, this is what step 1 and step 2 should look like when they're laying next to each other. Kind of opposites of each other there. We're gonna move on to step 3. Step 3 is adding the tops to both of these pieces, which are N and M. I mean, it gives you somewhat of an indication where they go. It looks like step 3 is to put the top on step 1, and step 4 is to put the top on step 2. Anyway, we're gonna get the tops on this, and yeah, I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. We're gonna do steps 3 and 4 at the same time. These are number 3s. When you use the number 3s, you are supposed to put a washer on first, which totally makes sense unless you're not familiar with building stuff like this. But if you are familiar with it, you need a washer on these first, which is probably the reason why they include so many damn washers. So let's go ahead and put a washer on this. So this is what it should look like when it goes in. You see the washer there. Washer prevents the screw from sliding out of this hole, even though it shouldn't. It's just extra protection there. And to show you what it looks like that. Step 1, 2, 3, 4 are done. This is what it looks like with the tops on. Next step, step 5, is gonna be connecting these two pieces together. And we are gonna just use one screw for that, I believe. And it goes just like that. I believe that's where this is gonna go, right here. So that little cutout is to make room for this, I hope. So we're gonna put one screw, one bolt right through here to connect these together, and then we'll move on. I'm sorry, I should clarify. It's not one bolt to connect these together, it's 2. One here, and then one goes right here in between the 2. So a little bit more stable that way. So step 6 is going to be working on a completely different part of the surround. As you can see, we have these parts connected here. I'm going to set this aside, and then we're going to move on to step 6. For step 6, we need these parts, 2 G's, 1 D, 2 C's, and then we need a bunch of number 4 screws. Again, it doesn't say use any washers, but I'm gonna guess that we need to use washers. So I'm gonna use the washers, and we will get this put together. This is to kind of give you an idea of what it's supposed to look like. I just laid it out. I haven't put the screws in yet, but you have the D in the middle, and then you have the C's on either side. The difference being the C's have these extra holes in them, whereas the D doesn't. So we're gonna go get the screws put in here, and I'll show you what that looks like when it's built. For putting together stuff like this, where there's 2 halves, generally it helps to build one half first. So we're gonna screw in all the screws on this half, and then we'll just add the other G on top, and that should make it a little easier. Step 6 complete, all one piece. That's what it's supposed to look like. Step 7 has us working on another completely separate part. So our other part is over there. I'm gonna set this piece with that other one, and then we'll get started on 7 and 8, which look very, very similar. I think it's just building the tops of 2 sides of the surround. So let's go ahead and do that. So this is what we got for step 7. Building one side of the hot tub surround. We've got S, an O, another O, and another S, and sandwiched between them we have a Q, an R, and another Q. This is getting actually pretty repetitive, and that's a good thing, because even though these instructions are not written very well, building this so far doesn't seem like it's that difficult, and I hope you guys are following me up until this point. It's essentially just putting the number of bolts in the screws and sandwiching things together, making sure that there are washers when you need them on the sides that have the bolts and whatnot. I will show you what this looks like when it's completed. It should be pretty easy. step 7 and 8 completed. That's step 8. Step 7 is over there on the grass. And we're gonna move on to step 9. Step 9 is adding curved panels to the sides of, I believe, both 7 and 8. However, it does not specify. As you can see, curved panels on one side. I assume that they have to go on both sides, but again, that's an assumption. It doesn't specify. I'm gonna start with this one and then we'll do the same over there. Again, this is a panel A and this is a panel B, just like steps 1 and 2 with those curved side panels. This is panel A and panel B right there. Anyway, you guys, I think you guys get the picture. If you have any questions at any point in time or any steps of this, go ahead and post them in the description below. I'll be happy to try and help you out. I'm gonna go ahead and add these curved panels here and I'll show you what that looks like. So I found another mistake in these instructions. Man, these are not great. So here is step 7 and 8. And clearly, if you look right here, you can see it shows the holes in both cues on the inside. Holes of both cues on the inside. But when you move to step 9, right here, step 9, you will see the curved panels for A and B go on the outside, which makes sense, but in order to mount those, it requires these holes to be over there. So I need to flip these around. Make sure you don't make the same mistake if you're building this. Step 9 is completed. You can see the 2 curved panels attached. We haven't done the curved panels on the other one yet because it hasn't asked us to. I looked ahead in the instructions and we are supposed to do that later. One other thing to note, back when we did this, when we built this piece here, you're supposed to build 2 of them. Again, nothing in the instructions says this, but for the next step, you're supposed to have 2. Right here, you can see that there are clearly 2. So we're gonna build another one of those with those parts there. And then we're gonna attach them together. And attaching them together is step 10. But we're gonna build another one of these and then I'll show you step 10. Okay guys, so now I've got 2 of these. We're just gonna call them G's because these smaller panels are called G's. Now we're gonna attach them together. We're gonna sandwich this in between the 2. This is an F. And this is gonna go right in between the 2. Yeah, we'll get this all attached into one piece. This is eventually gonna be the step. So the wood panels are gonna go on top of this. This is gonna be the step up into the spa. Anyway, I will show you what this looks like once it's done. Let's attach these 2 here. All right, step 10 complete. As you can see, they are attached, all one piece now. All right, step 11. So step 11 is adding again curved panels for the corners. Again, another A and another B with an E, this, and a T sandwiched in between. Basically, it's a panel, a structural piece like one of those, and then another panel. And that's kind of what you have to keep in mind when you're building this. We're gonna get these together and then I'll show you what that looks like when it's done. But again, it's getting very repetitive, which is a good thing, and we're not making too many mistakes. We don't have that many parts left if you look. So, not much. We're almost there, guys. All right guys, that's step 11 completed. This piece is pretty structurally sound. I want to say it's more structurally sound than the other pieces I built, and I think that's because this piece is designed to be stepped on rather than just sat on. So that's good. It's good to know that this piece is pretty strong. Let's move on to step 12. So step 12, they kind of want us to start attaching everything together. As you can see, we have a square there. You're gonna need a partner for this, because you're still building it upside down, so you are gonna have to flip it over. The other thing is, so you're gonna build it upside down. I'm gonna do it out there where there's more space, and then I'm gonna have my wife come in and help me flip it over to put it to surround the hot tub. So you are gonna need a partner for this. I suppose you can attempt it by yourself. The whole thing doesn't weigh that much, at least not yet. We're gonna get putting this together. I will let you guys know if I run into any snags or anything that's confusing in the instructions. This isn't the final instruction, but it is the part where we are finally going to make a square and things should start to take shape. Alright guys, this is the VidaXL Spa Surround for portable inflatable spas. This works for either Coleman or the saluspa. We have the saluspa Hawaii, as you guys know if you've seen my previous videos. This is the 4 to 6 person spa, the one that's square, and the surround fits perfectly around it. A couple of things to note about this spa, or about this spa surround. These instructions aren't great, and I'll tell you a couple things to keep in mind if you're going to purchase this and if you're going to build it. So the nice things about this are you've got some storage here on the sides, and you've got this on both sides. You've also got some natural wood step over here. You can see right there. Now the natural wood step is really the only place you want to step on when you're using this. This is actually really stable. This side part is good for sitting, and you can rest towels and stuff up there and drinks and whatnot, but I would not stand up here. I don't think it's strong enough. I don't think it's stable enough. I mean, it's really solid at this point, but it's just kind of like a rattan mesh top. I don't think you want to step on that unless you got little kids or something like that. Okay, a couple other things to note. Follow me this way. As you guys saw in earlier parts of the video, there are 5 different screw lengths for this particular spa surround, and the instructions aren't very good at specifying when you need to use which length. So a rule of thumb that I kind of figured out as I was going is if you are connecting 3 pieces, you're going to want to use screw number 1. If you're connecting 2 pieces or less, you're going to use any of the other screws, but as long as you know which time to use screw number 1, you should be good. Again, 3 pieces, then screw number 1. All right, another feature of this spa surround is you've got this cutout area for your spa heater and pump. Now, a couple things to note. If you're gonna build this spa surround, it's probably easier to do it before your spa is inflated, or at least before it's filled with water. That way you can put the spa surround on, and then you can connect your pump. Where we kind of ran into a problem is our spa is already full. So we set it on top, then we had to disconnect the pump while the water was coming out. Tried to stop it as much as possible. We slid the spa surround on, and then I pushed the pump back in and connected it up, and then we had to refill it with a little bit of water. Another thing to keep in mind, These shelving units, this part goes on the bottom here, and it adds extra rigidity to the overall structure. Now, there is no step in these instructions that show you when to install these. So you just kind of had to eyeball it. When I got all 4 pieces connected and I made a square, that's when I connected these while it was still upside down, and that seemed like the best time to do it. So that's all I can say about this, is this step is missing from the instructions. So this is the VidaXL Hot Tub Spa Surround. It looks like it's like imitation rattan. This one is gray. It comes in a couple different colors. It retails for about $850 on Amazon, and I'll put a link in the description below. I want to stress, VidaXL did not pay me to make this video. They didn't send me any products for free or anything like that. That allows me to make a completely unbiased review. Do I recommend this product? I do, with some caveats. And those caveats are, give yourself about 5 to 6 hours to build it, because that's about how long it's going to take, and that's including mistakes as you build it, which I'm sure you're going to make some just because the instructions are so bad. I hope this video helps you out and helps you avoid some of those mistakes. I'm going to try to add chapters in this video for each particular step so that you can skip to the step that you're having problems with. Hopefully that'll clear things up for you. The next thing I want to say is that the overall quality seems pretty good once you have it built. The shipping and the packaging that it came in isn't the best, and I was actually missing about 8 bolts, or I'm sorry, about 8 nuts from the packaging that I believe fell out during the shipping process, because as you saw earlier in the video, the box had a bunch of holes in it. So I'm sure those just came out either in the shipping truck or wherever, and so I had to go to the hardware store and pick up some extra bolts, but I was able to find some and we were able to get it together. So it remains to be seen how this will handle Arizona sun. I hope it'll handle it pretty good. We might try to cover it up in the summer or whatnot, but I think for spring, fall, and winter, this will be great. It's just the Arizona sun I'm a little bit worried about. I don't want it to dry out and get brittle or anything like that. It's supposed to be outside, so I hope that it handles it pretty good. It looks beautiful. And now we have a place to put all of our towels, our extra clothes, drinks, or whatnot if we're in our hot tub. I want to say thank you guys for sticking with me in this video. If you've watched to the very end, I really appreciate it. I hope this video helped you out, and I hope you found it enjoyable and entertaining. If you have any questions about this product or any other hot tub questions or anything like that about my previous videos, feel free to post them in the comment section below. Again, oh, one other thing I want to note. The last thing I want to say is these are the only tools they give you to build this with. If I had used these, it would take me 6 days to make this. Get yourself an impact driver, automatic screwdriver, something like that. You're gonna need some wrenches. You're gonna need something like that. You don't need one of these, but I do recommend one of these. This is the Milwaukee multi-tool. I'll put a link to this in the description below as well as this product here. Thank you guys again for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for joining me for another problem solved.